Hello there. Sorry about the delay. I'll explain in brief what happened just a second ago. First of all, I want to make sure my mic is going through. It looks like it is. Excellent. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you don't know me, I am Mercy, the Game Master here at HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back in the new year with another Working Wednesday stream. Hello, Kale. How are you today? I hope today was better for you. We're going to get interrupted here by Lumia in a moment, but I have no idea exactly when that's going to happen, so I don't want to just sit here and wait in the meantime. If you're not familiar with the format of the show, we put 30 minutes on the clock. We work for 30 minutes. We take a 5-minute break. We come back for 30 minutes, and then we get out of here. At least that's the hope. Between me being a person that probably has ADHD and also just the various ways that D&D prep can go awry and go down bunny trails sometimes, not quite on that schedule, but we try and keep it to 60 or no more than 90 minutes is the goal. We want to be fairly focused, get done, at least the majority of the things that we set out to do, and then get out of here. So our projects for the day down here, we've got, we need to assign experience for episode 32. We need to work on some prep for episode 33. And then I need to work on organizing my medium and long-term to-do list, because I've had a lot of things where it's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. And I'm sure they all are, but it's gotten a little out of control. It needs some management. So that's what we're working on today.
YouTube stream is now live.
There's Lumia. Excellent. So thank you so much for being here. Would love to have you join me. This is a kind of productivity working stream, but I will still be reading chat. A lot of productivity streams don't do that. And I don't know. I'm too used to streaming on Twitch. I'm too interactive for that. So I will still be chatting with chat, but it may be a little bit more start-stop than it is during our normal Twitch streams. If you have fun here, if you're new, we'd love to have you put a subscription on the channel. And even if you don't need to work on D&D stuff, you can join us, clean your room, or do whatever you need to do. Hello, Stardust. How you doing? All right. So I'm going to try and go more or less in order today, because we do have a D&D session again this Saturday. We played last weekend. We play again this weekend. We usually play about twice a month. So we don't want to fall behind on things like assigning experience or whatever, because it gets significantly harder to go back and catch up on that. Also, as a reminder, if you're watching, really whether you're watching live or you're watching the VOD, don't forget to change to live chat, because top chat's garbage. And if you enjoy the show, then we'd love to have you put a like on the channel. Or, well, a like, yes, also. But a like on the live stream is what I meant to say. Party folder. D&D XP tracker. Indeed, Shalendor is not here. Can confirm. Let's see, what was Saturday? The 11th, I think? Nailed it. So this last one will be spoiler-free for anybody who is watching or catching up on our sessions, but this last one was interesting. A random encounter that led to some additional things, and it was spicy. It was spicy. So I always do two things. We do, for our on-stream campaigns especially, but I did this back when we played at the table too. We give session XP, which is kind of like generally accounts for the vagaries of role play that happen over time. And then we give out bonus experience for standout moments, whether that's in or out of combat. So I have kind of a range for how much session experience we give, and then within those standout moments, there are kind of experience ranges as well. So how much session XP do we think makes sense here? I guess let me get the old XP guide opened up here. this was a primarily encounter-based session. So, I think we're going to go like this. Oh, and also, I have to remember about this. There's a special XP modifier that we need to do as well for one of our characters. Hello, lol, and lol, and thank you very much for hitting that like button, Shalendor. Appreciate you. And thank you for being here. Did you end up going to bed last night when you were going to? And lol. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, I have to make sure that I use the proper number here because this was kind of a direct negotiation with the player of this character. I might alter it a tiny bit. Pray I don't alter it any further. You might have accidentally saw the 2 a.m. pass by and went, well, F, oops. Oh, well, I mean, at least you were being productive with the time. Six parts of the module, and in part one, there are 17 slides taking a few hours plus distractions to make it through. Oh, geez. Okay, I do also want to give some bonus experience, or, you know, whatever we want to call it, but bonus experience to this particular player character because of the decision that they made. Well, okay, I think there's 2 player characters actually that get specifically bonus experience there. Then there's also the encounter experience itself. Okay, hold on, I'm going a little out of order. I usually do the things that affect everybody before I go through and do the individual things. So, well, yes, I do mean encounters. I think I would call the first one an easy encounter and the second one an average encounter, but with each of those, there are XP ranges. I think the one that I'm calling an easy encounter is really was quite easy. Because the conditions were highly unfavorable to one side. I guess that's like a super minor spoiler, but... But the other encounter was, we'll just say, not easy, to be vague. True, but I'm thinking more like ecologically how that creature wants to behave versus how that it had to behave there. No, I know. I'm talking about. So I'm saying part of the reason I'm saying that the first encounter was easier than the second encounter is just because that combatant wants to behave in a specific way, and it was not able to do so. The almost deadly one would have been better if people were able to roll properly. True. Yes, that's encounter number 2 that I'm saying was significantly more deadly. True, but part of the reason why the second one was more difficult was because the environment was different. So that makes the encounter harder. Now, admittedly, their rolls also were absolute trash. But part of that is because that the environment was more difficult. Also, I was responding a little bit more to Kale, so sorry, but it ended up working kind of as a response to both of you. I made the mistake of hearing a sea shanty right before stream here, and now it's stuck in my head because, of course, it is. So, for the one that I'm calling average encounter, I am going to XP more in the medium to higher end of average because of the situation. Now, it becomes kind of a weird thing, though, right? Because it's hard to talk about this one without spoilers. So I guess earmuffs, I'll start spoilers at 14 minutes and we'll end it before 13 minutes. So if you want to earmuffs really quickly, if you care about spoilers, you can do that. Okay. That encounter also, that like they fled, right? Now I realize that in the Dungeon Masters guide, it says that like essentially fleeing counts as defeating an encounter. But I've never loved the way that that sits, because it's like, well, then, like, I don't know. It kind of feels like you just run from everything, right? Not, I'm certainly not going to give no XP because there was a lot going on there. But I don't know if I want to give full XP for that either. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the XP in as an equation and give 2/3 XP. Because they definitely deserve some. It was a cool encounter, and they did complete a lot of the encounter, but they did also flee. The second one, no. Okay, and I said that would be the end of spoilers, at least as far as what I'm going to say out loud. So I just wanted to kind of like process that verbally. So I'm going to enter that into the XP spreadsheet in a very specific way, pursuant to what we just talked about. Okay. This one ended up being a lot more complicated for calculating experience than I necessarily thought of, so I'm doubly glad that we didn't wait too long. Right? Okay, so then I think there's some... I don't know what to call this, especially without being spoilery, so I'm just going to mull this one over in my head, but... oh, sweet. I can fit that in my explanation. I think that was a pretty cool moment. That deserves some bonus XP there. And then that one I think will be less because it was less dangerous for that character, but I think that character gets some XP for that as well. Okay. I think we've thought through that. That was a really interesting encounter as far as, especially the way that we specifically award experience. So episode 33, which I was blank the next episode in, will be Saturday the 18th. That's right. If you keep up with our campaigns, if you didn't know, or if you didn't hear me earlier, depending on when you tuned in, we are playing again this upcoming weekend. Okay. Close that. Close that. So, next thing. Prep notes for episode 33. I'm still a little torn on breaking the prologue, or I guess combining the prologue back instead of being broken out. Because a lot changed at the end, like between prologue and going to what was previously session 1 that's now like session 12 or whatever. It was the end of kind of the preamble story, and also we went from not having cameras to having cameras. However, it was reported by, not a lot, but by 1 or 2 people that they found the separation a little bit confusing. I'm gonna have to think of what to name that episode. Right now, even the note, like a lot of times I come up with the name ahead of time because I'm relatively confident on at least more or less what's going to be happening, but that last one is going to be difficult, especially because the kind of like joke that I would use for it, we already used for episode, I don't remember, 30 or 31 for a different situation. Taught yourself to knit, but you knit backwards. I'm afraid I don't know what that means since I don't know anything about knitting. Oh, right. Okay, so I guess there really wasn't a ton that I needed to work into the session 33 notes. It just leads me into kind of the part 2 of what I need to do for episode 33, which is I need a little bit more prep. And what I really should have done is checked in with the players to see kind of what their thoughts were. I'm going to try not to overweigh this. But what do you think, Kale? Obviously, broadly speaking, you want to go north, but as a player, so out of character, would you rather do that sooner, or are there other things that you would like to do first? Like, do you want to? Obviously, there's some things that need to be done around town, like confirming the construction site and blah blah blah. But do you want to try and like wait for your uniforms? Do you want to try and are there any other like quests or things that you guys have started that you haven't dealt with yet? You don't have to be specific, but just kind of broadly, like do you want to try and leave ASAP, or do you want to get some stuff done? Flash, as a follow-up, do you remember what date I said that uniforms would be done? I don't know if I wrote that down. I'm looking through my notes. I'm not just sitting here waiting because it's also possible that he's not here. He may have Homer Simpson into the bush. Although I did just forget what it was I was looking for. Crap. Oh no. Oh dear. What was I looking for? I just got smacked in the face real hard with the ADD. Oh, about the date on the uniforms. I made it back. Usually I don't. Yep. Thank you. There were so many notes. The episode 29 notes were, I think, some of the most in-depth prep notes I've ever written for a session. Or no, that was the wrong number. 30. Yeah, 29. There was so much in there that I also kind of need to make sure that all of that got distributed to where it needed to go. Forgot the word uniforms. No, you're good. If I hadn't just thought of it myself, that would have been enough to remind me. I'm also not entirely clear whether that was episode 29 or episode 30. Oh, also the butlers need minis. We need to finish those minis. Rocket started on it, and I remember I liked one of them and was like more or less ready to stamp it, and one of them I wanted to make some changes to, and we talked about it a little bit, but I have no idea if he has done anything else with that, / I have not looked at them any further. Okay, it does not look like I wrote down the date that I said that the uniforms would be done. Crap. I'm usually pretty good about that kind of thing. It was somewhere between the 10th and the 20th, but like that makes a big difference. If it's the 10th, they're arriving back at town like late on the 7th. So it's like it's almost the 8th. So like they could do some stuff in town for a couple days and then get their things. If it was like the 15th or the 20th, then that would require a significant fast forward or a lot of time in town role playing. F. Yeah, I'm really glad that I went back though to see the episode 29 notes, because I did the majority of this stuff, but there are definitely a few things that need to be circled back on as far as note organization and to-do lists go. Here's another quick thing to look at while our timer runs down here. Did I actually, one of the things that I had written down was to name the guards that are going to be, oh, I'm pretty sure I did do this. Now the question is, where did I put it? Did I name the guards that they were going to be hiring for Fort Leona? I did. These aren't especially spoilers. We have Julian, Elsbeth, Alfred, Owen, Ricardo, and Mira. Okay, so that one is done. The notes for part 1 of module 3 is more pages than you know. Oh, jeez. Oh, I know one of the other things that needs to be dealt with here. Rabato's player has been very understanding about the delay on this thing, but it's definitely something that I want to get to soon now. Okay, in D&D and world building, I also decided there was a little group of people who were under the command of Captain Silas, who died during the Battle of Capstone. And that Alan Dyke initially tried to recruit to come to Fort Leona with them. And I came up with a name for them. I thought it kind of made sense for them to be, you know, kind of have their own like brotherhood, so to speak, as the few that survived against defending the ambushing orcs that came down Mount Capstone during the battle. And I want to make sure that I actually got that written down somewhere. Oh, snap. I still need to deal with this too. Yeah, okay, I did write that down. Silas's survivors, because I'm a sucker for alliteration. But to be fair, so are people kind of as a whole. What I'm excited about this job is that no matter where you might end up in the world doing this job, it'll all be English since that's the international standard for aviation. Oh, I didn't realize that your posting for this might potentially be outside of Canada. Hello there, Donovan. Nice to meet you. What are we doing? We are working on essentially some logistics management, like to-do lists and notes for our Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We run 2 campaigns in the same setting that both take place on Twitch, and then we upload here to YouTube. And as a result, we work really hard to try and maintain continuity and everything. So this is not necessarily what we do during every Wednesday's stream, but today's task is to reconcile some notes and catch up on some things and make sure that everything matches up the way that we want it to. Thank you, T-Mom. Everybody always comes by right when I'm supposed to be taking a stretch break. It's okay, though. We'll hang out for a few more minutes. I was trying to get to a stopping point anyway. Are you an enjoyer of Dungeons & Dragons, Donovan? If so, I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience or your campaign if you're currently playing in one. You're actually on an intermission for a game that you're... Oh, that's awesome. Well, that answers that. If you have an opportunity, I'd love to hear about it. But I know intermission usually, especially if you're DM, your time is often going to be short. Thank you so much for coming by, though. And if you don't have time now, I'd love to hear about your stuff in the future. I think D&D as a whole, and especially being a DM or GM, there's a lot of that, you know, kind of the rising tide lifts all boats mentality, where individuals' creativity can inspire, you know, creativity in other people. For instance, are orcs using hang gliders to get over the walls of Capstone during the battle came from a conversation that we had during a live stream here on YouTube. They're in a forgotten temple. They're finding a necromancer in the temple's crypt and trying to... I'm assuming the necromancer is trying to summon a powerful undead. I dig it. I dig it. Is there any particular theme for the temple? You know, is it like Aztec, Maya, Egyptian? Yeah, of course. I did note down Silas's survivors. One of the other things I needed to check on here is for Fort Leona. In the construction crew, did I note those people's names? Because I remember I came up with them. Yes, I did. Okay. I am more up to date on our notes and to-do lists than I feared. I guess it's just kind of the anxious part of my brain being like, you're so behind, there's so many things you haven't done. But like, actually, so far, the vast majority of things that I'm finding from the last like 5 sessions worth of notes, almost all of them have been done. Kind of a Skyrim Viking vibe on a frozen mountain. Oh, okay. So kind of the horrors beneath the ice kind of feel. Heck yeah. Do they know what they're getting into? Like, do they know why they're there, or is it more of a they're going to stumble onto it sort of deal? Also, sorry. I'm super interested. So if it feels like I'm grilling you, I can lay off. Also, I just like to hear about people's projects. Okay, that's done. That's done. That one's not done. So I need to message that person about that thing. That's done. That's done. I think that's done. This one, I believe I have noted down in our medium-term to-do list. Yes. That doesn't really need anything else to be done. That's done. I'm not sure if this one's done. So let's go into this file. Here's Butlers. And make sure, did I write down? Yes, I did. Man, look at me. Like I said, I really have done the majority of the things that I had set out here in my notes that needed to be done. Feels good. There are a few things I'm catching, so I'm still glad that we're going back through it as well. But I don't have nearly as much kind of hanging over my head here as I thought I did. Now, in my Trello, I have an absurd number of things, and we're going to go through and pare that down shortly as well. Kind of they're just following the necromancer because he has a bounty on their head. Aha. I'll go. Good bro, you love talking live. It's so cool and connective versus normal videos. Yeah, thank you. I love live streaming. It's one of the reasons why I struggle to get into normal video making as much as I'd like to on YouTube, because I just love the interaction too much. So a little bit more since you're engaging here too, and I'm happy to keep hearing stuff about your game also. But for our game, it's a custom campaign setting that I first made for a table game that ran from about 2013 to 2018-ish. We had over 1,000 hours of table play during that time, so it's a pretty developed custom setting. And then about, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so, we launched our on-stream campaign, which we live stream on Twitch, and then we upload those videos to YouTube. So if you're enjoying the vibe, I know you said you like the back and forth, and obviously we do these streams as well, but if you're ever curious about our campaign, we'd love to have you check it out here. We're working really, really hard to try and grow our YouTube channel this year. In addition to our sessions, one of our characters has a fully scripted, voiced over and animated backstory video that we made. And I'm hoping within the next 6 weeks, we're going to get the next characters done as well. We've also got a couple of other original content videos planned here for D&D stuff. But our setting is kind of Lord of the Rings-esque, which was not done on purpose, but that's just kind of the way that it played out. Kind of a low to medium fantasy, kind of low magic, low power setting, where leveling is slowed down a little bit, and we really kind of focus on, like, you know, the struggle of like saving, changing, impacting the world. So the big story beat thus far has been, after a lot of work from the players to prepare the town for defense, the frontier town of Capstone was just barely successfully defended from a large orcish attack. And when I say just barely, I'm very much the world is the world and the players do what the players are going to do. Like I don't pull punches either individually for situations or more broadly for the narrative. So like the town could very well have been destroyed. It was literally there were over 1,000 orcs and a little under 1,000 defenders of the town plus the players, and like it came down to the last handful of defending NPCs plus the remaining player characters. It was very, very close to that town being set to the torch. Sounds dope. You'll definitely be around. Thank you so much. So these live streams we usually do, I'd say 3 Wednesdays a month. We shoot for every week, but sometimes we take a week off for any number of reasons. So most Wednesdays from about 2:30 Pacific until about 3:34 Pacific. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and just start the timer because I'm feeling pretty focused still. I'm working through it. And then as far as the sessions, we play twice a month for our main campaign. And those get uploaded to YouTube within the week after the session happens. There is also a second campaign that takes place in our campaign setting that's run by a DM friend of ours, and they play once a month on Mondays. So same setting, same timeline, but different group of characters doing their own things. Big relief for those villagers after all that? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So T-Bomb loves the hat because it is an awesome hat, right? In case you can't read it. But also T-Bomb gave me this hat. Oops, too far. No, it's a great hat. My only complaint about it is the embroidery wasn't quite centered on it. So like when I put it on my head where the seam fits the most naturally, it has everything is, I think everything's too far off to this side. It sits like, I think it, yeah, I think it sits about like that naturally. So I do always have to rotate it just a little bit, but for what is otherwise a 10 out of 10 hat, that's a pretty minor complaint. Not only looks good, it's really warm. It is super warm, yeah. I went for a walk yesterday actually and accidentally grabbed my other beanie, and I got like halfway around the block and I was like, man, my ears are cold. What the heck? And then I realized I was wearing the wrong beanie. So, Donovan, you said that you're on intermission. Do you mean like you guys are playing literally right now and you're just taking like a, you know, whatever, 15-minute break or something? Or do you mean you run a game normally, but your game is on a bit of a pause for however long? Okay, we did this thing, we did this thing. I don't remember. About 30 minutes. Gotcha. Very cool. Are you playing at a table game or is it a digital campaign? Both are great. Just curious. That's done. That's done. TRK. Hello. Durg here. Is that supposed to be Druge? or oh, Durgram. Excellent. Thank you for coming by, Durgram. Got to be in person. Man, I do miss playing in person. I love our digital campaign and I love being able to turn it into content and share it with people. But I do miss the presence of playing at a table. Like I said, this campaign setting started out as a table game that ran for years. And I do miss that a lot. Thanks so much for coming by, Durgram. I hope you're well. And sorry, that threw me off. One of our player characters is named Druge, Druge. So when you wrote Durg, that, and we're talking about D&D things, of course. So my mind went to Druge instead. Doing well, you hope. I am. Got to get some new ideas for D&D. Nice. I forgot you played. If I knew that, at least I forgot. Happy to help you brainstorm if you've got any roadblocks or anything. Otherwise, I'm kind of working on. So I always kind of try and walk the line between these streams of like talking about what I'm doing, but also not oversharing or getting too much into the land of spoilers because you know, some people do want to catch up. Obviously, very broad strokes things like, oh, we're on this weekend. This upcoming weekend's episode will be 33. And, you know, 15 episodes ago, this like major story thing happened that we kind of like have to reference. Like, yeah, obviously there'll be a few things here and there that come up, but we try, and especially with a recency bias, we try not to be spoilery too often during these streams. And yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. It's been a good day. I'm slightly behind on what else I wanted to get done off stream, but overall, doing pretty good and doing pretty good. Donovan, yes, you love to see it. That is the hope, is that we continue to grow a community of people that can uplift each other and inspire each other's work. Nothing for you now. I just always like to hear and see others' games in case you need to borrow an idea. Oh, gotcha. Are you? Have you had a chance to see any of our any of our campaign, either live or here on YouTube? Got some awesome jousting rules from another guy on Twitch. Oh, very cool. I'm assuming something more than just perform attack. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Our hope for this year is to try and get the YouTube channel monetized, which, I mean, yes, also we hope to make some money from it, but it's just kind of a good goal to work towards. And to accomplish that, we're just a little under 300 followers away from the minimum requirement, but watch time is really, really tough. You need 4,000 hours of watch time within a rolling 12-month period. So right now, our rolling 12-month period, we're at like 1,200, something like that. So although we're 70% of the way there on the follows, we're only like a third of the 30 to 35% of the way there on watch time. So everybody that tunes in to the live streams and or people that go back and watch the campaign videos, super, super appreciate it. Yeah, 4,000. It's a freaking lot. I have to say, I was thinking about this recently too. I love the way that our episode 1 went. I think it was so exciting. In case anybody does want to go back and watch it, I won't spoil it, but it was a really fun, like, assembling the party. We did not start at the tavern, although I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I just realized I wasn't wearing my ring. But we had a few individuals and a few twosomes who had kind of their own situations that then, like, were brought together, and I was really happy with how that went. It was exciting. Yeah, even with D&D videos, right, that are super super long, 2.5 to 5 hours depending. So, if we set an average of, say, 4.5 hours per video, and we have 31 episodes up on YouTube right now. 4.5. Every person who watches through our whole campaign as it currently is 140 hours. Which means, oh god, I did the math wrong. So every person who watches through our campaign within a year is 4% of our work towards monetization, which is pretty significant. Pretty significant. Props to us for 1,200 though. Don't bet your life for the algorithm. No, not at all. I am a full-time content creator for whatever that's worth. My amazing wife really pushed for me to pursue that when I was looking at leaving my old job, and it's been a wild ride. The finances are hard, but we have a super, super supportive little community, and both with their time and effort and their money. And we've been able to make it work. But that is admittedly one of the other reasons, like I said, for why we're trying to get the YouTube channel monetized, is we're trying to create another revenue stream. Thank you, T-Bomb. Yeah, YouTube's weird about rewatching, because, like, you can rewatch, but also if you rewatch too much, then they get finicky and think that you're a bot, and then they remove all your watch time. So if there are any of them you haven't played, certainly a first playthrough at least is, like, super impactful. Rewatches, I have no idea, because nobody knows, because YouTube doesn't actually tell anybody anything. But rewatches, there's some limit to that where it is helpful and then not helpful, which is really frustrating. We actually got a lot of watch time removed. There are one or more people in our community who I think like work really, really hard to support what we do and, like, play our videos and presumably rewatch them and whatever. And a lot of times our sessions will get posted, and they'll within the first week or two, they'll go up to 30, 40, 50 watch hours, and then, like, a week later they'll drop to, like, 20. You get a shout out. Well, they actually removed the view counts as well, believe it or not. Like, you just want me to say hello or whatever? Yeah, I'm happy to. Is this one of your players? Tell me about their character real quick. Just give me, like, a 1 or 2 sentence rundown. And also, is it Keone? Badass name. A human monk badass. All right. Yeah, let's go. Thank you for coming by, Keone. Good luck in your session. It's been Keon. No? Yeah, Keon. Okay, I was close. Thanks for being here, Keon. I hope you have a wonderful day. Have an awesome session with Donovan. If Donovan is half as attentive as a DM as they've been here in chat, you must have an absolutely awesome game. I hope your monk kicks some huge ass today. I'm still working through my notes also, so that's why I'm looking away, but Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and shameless plug while your table's here. If you like the vibe, if you like D&D, we would super, super, super appreciate anybody who comes by youtube.com/HereThereBeMonsters. If you hit the channel with a sub or a follow, whatever you want to call it, and check out the videos, we really, really, really appreciate it. Hey, speaking of, thank you for the sub. That may have happened now, or that may have happened a little while ago. YouTube's weird about pushing alerts for things. But heck yeah. All right, so I've got, and you know, we can go a little bit over, that's fine, but I've got a little over 15 minutes to get a handful of things done here. A lot of this is going to be pinging players to verify things in notes. So, oops, I can spell. Gotta get back to the game. If you love talking with me, see me here. Hey, yeah, my pleasure. Seriously. I really look forward to getting to know you better, Donovan. Have an awesome game. Okay, there's one ping. Then we've also got... Oops. Oh, right. That person's done. Okay. So that ping goes to those two people. That ping goes to that one person. This ping... Well, okay, let me triple check my notes and make sure that I didn't write this down somewhere. But there was a section where we were doing two things, which was outfitting the guards for the upcoming Fort Leona, and then establishing an armory with backup equipment. And I don't seem to have written any of that down, or at least not where I thought it would be. So let's go to... World building, Fort Leona. Okay, not in there. It's not going to be in construction crew, I don't think. That shouldn't be there. I also need to look up how this spell works. So we need the SRD here. I could just grab my book, but this is going to be one thing where it's just going to be faster. Uh-oh. I may have written down... Oh, dear. may not have written down the proper name for this spell. I put woodworking, but I'm pretty sure is not the name of a spell. I think there's one called like shape wood. Oh boy. That's awkward. Oh, no, never mind. I know what we can do for that. So now I'm going to grab a book. I need the Stronghold Builder's Guidebook. Wonderful little book that we're using for the construction of the fort. And we want final price. Yeah, it is supposed to be this spell. Okay, I've got a little bit of research to do here. One touched piece of wood. No larger than 10 cubic feet. Crap. It is not going to be nearly as helpful as I thought it was going to be. Oh boy. Okay, so what's the description of using spells for building components? The construction prices assume that when it's cost effective to do so, you're hiring spellcasters to cast Wall of Stone, Move Earth, and other spells useful for stronghold construction. If you can cast those spells yourself or somehow entice a spellcaster to do so for free, you can earn a discount, as shown on the table, blah, blah. Note that the discounts shown are cumulative, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know that part. That was not helpful. I swear to God, I remember reading something that explained about like how many, like where it said somewhere like, oh, you know, spell casting assumes that you know, have somebody that can cast the spell X number of times per day or something like that. Free and unusual labor, maybe? No, that's talking about using like zombies and stuff. I definitely know that I read that somewhere. The closest thing that we can get probably is going to be looking at the description of Move Earth. How much is that supposed to be able to... Oh, okay. Because the... Oh, man. So it says that wood shape is supposed to give a 5% discount per space that has wooden walls. The problem is wood shape only affects one touched piece of wood no larger than 10 cubic feet plus 1 cubic foot per level. So realistically, right, if you're building, you know, let's assume just kind of like palisade type construction, you're essentially hewing down medium small trees and standing them up on edge. So you've got approximately 1 cubic foot per foot of height. So if you want a 10-foot tall palisade wall, you've got 10 cubic feet of wood. So that means this is talking about stronghold sections, which are 20 by 20 by 20. So that means that you've got 80 linear feet or 800 cubic feet. But if we just go with the 80 linear feet and assume that it's one casting of wood shape per foot, you would need 80 castings of wood shape per stronghold space to actually get that discount. Even if you have... It's a second level spell. So if you have a caster who can cast it 4 times per day, it's going to take them 20 days to do one stronghold space. And our stronghold has kind of like man hours or labor hours, except it's spell casting days. That's some dedication, right? Well, it just doesn't make sense. You could have normal people build it in a half a day. Strongholds are built at a rate of 1 day per 1,000 gold spent. Like, it depends on the piece, I guess, right? It depends on different stronghold components have different costs. But something like a barracks that only costs 500, you could have normie laborers build it in a half a day, or you could have a druid make it in 20 days. Third edition, 3X, which is, we play 3.5, generally does a really good job of kind of approximating realism, but there are some things that just super miss like that. Right? Why is magical labor 40 times slower than mundane labor for building wooden walls? Like, what? How did this not get caught? Now, okay, that's a little apples to oranges. That's not totally fair because you're not only going to have one physical laborer either, right? So I guess theoretically you probably have like 5 spellcasters, something like that. But even at a rate, even with 5 spellcasters, each casting it 4 times a day, it's still going to take them 4 days. Whereas it would take the mundane laboring crew of approximately the same size a half of a day. So why does this matter? Small spoiler ahead, but it really doesn't. Super minor spoiler. thinking about giving the players access to a scroll of wood shape, which is a spell that gives a discount, which is the spell in question that gives a discount on the construction of strongholds and stronghold components. The problem is, according to the math we just did, it would take 80 scrolls of wood shape to make one component. Our stronghold, by the way, has 11.5 components. That scroll, by the way, has a value of 150 gold. Oh no. Would the value of the scrolls to build one component be more than the cost of the whole stronghold? My guess is yes. Let's do some math. So yeah, so 80 scrolls per component would be a cost of 12,000 gold per 20 by 20 stronghold component, and their entire stronghold's gross cost is 10,200. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. 920 scrolls for the whole thing. Yeah, exactly. T-bomb. They drained the coffers of the whole kingdom to build their one tiny little frontier fort with spells instead of just paying some common laborers to work for like a week and do it. It would make more sense if you didn't have access to the wood for the construction. That's true. That's true. Seems like a massive oversight. Yeah, and that's where part of it falls short. Is this is a 3.0 book, Stronghold Builder's Guidebook, and one of the big changes from 3.0 to 3.5 was to try and reconcile and like up kind of the realism factor, or like pseudo realism. So we're comparing. Yeah, that's essentially what's wrong here. Is they never updated this book to version 3.5. And so we're using the version of it that existed before they cared so much in this edition about realism. The problem is, if I just say, well, screw it, I'm the DM, I can do whatever I want. Let's say that scroll could decrease the cost of one whole component. Like, theoretically, the value of that scroll should be like 12,000 gold. Which, again, yes, I can DM handwave it and say that's ridiculous. But even if I cut the price by 90%, it would still be 1,200. Like, in our in our low magic, low money, like low everything campaign, 1,200 gold is still a freaking lot. This really throws things off because I was planning on having this be like a minor story hook that would take, that would engage like a part of an episode, like between a part of an episode and 2 episodes. I don't mind hand waving small differences for the sake of making things work, but the degree to which that's monetarily off kilter is just so crazy. Are there other scrolls that I could give them instead? Oh yeah, what was the total? Hold on, I only did the math for one component. If it was 920 scrolls, what would the actual math there be? I could do it in my head, but I don't feel like it. 138,000. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. What other spells affect stronghold construction? Airwalk, fly, or levitate give you a discount on buildings that are especially tall. Fabricate helps with furnishings. Oh, fabricate might work. We'll look into that. Make sure that's not a super high level or expensive spell or scroll. Move earth. They already have somebody to help with that. Stone shape. They're not building hewn stone walls for the most part. There's one building that will have that. Telekinesis helps with tall buildings and towers. Why is that not just in the list? That's funny. Okay. Wall of stone, no. And wood shape, which is the one that we were looking at. Okay, so let's look at fabricate. Maybe we've got a workaround. Fabricate. Oh my lord. It's a 5th level wizard spell? Okay, but that's the kind of thing I'm a little bit more willing to hand wave a little bit. Okay, let's see. Transmutation, sorcerer wizard level 5, up to 10 cubic feet per level. So you could make a fair amount of furniture with each casting of that, especially if you were careful about it. You know, how you like arrange things. Oh, and that's 10 cubic feet per level. Oh, God. And to cast a 5th level spell, you have to be at least level 9. Which... or no, at least level 11? Whatever, I'm just going to go with 9 for the sake of quick math here. Which means that you could do 90 cubic feet worth of furniture in one casting of Fabricate. Okay. Because also I can kind of hand wave that and be like, oh, we're going to create lesser Fabricate, right? Which is like a level 2 or level 3 spell instead that does like half the volume per level, something like that. So that's why I don't mind hand waving this sort of thing. You convert material of one sort into a product that is of the same material. So you can just like touch wood with one hand, hold hand out, like ta-da, chair in hand kind of deal. Creatures or magic items cannot be created or transmuted by the Fabricate spell. You cannot create life with this spell. The quality of items made by this spell is commensurate with the quality of the material used as the basis for the new fabrication. If you work with a mineral, the target is reduced to 1 cubic foot per level instead of 10. Sure. You must make an appropriate craft check to fabricate articles requiring a high degree of craftsmanship. Okay. Casting requires 1 round per 10 cubic feet. Oh, cool. One thing I always wish D&D had more of, I understand why it doesn't, but is I wish there was more kind of like ritual casting. Now they don't do that because for the most part they want spells to be castable in combat, but I've always really loved the idea of like very somatic and material casting. So you have kind of like the druids dancing in the wood to, change the phase of the moon or like that kind of thing. So I like that this would take a minute instead of 6 seconds. With our earlier example there. Okay, so Fabricate, how insanely expensive is a scroll of Fabricate? Remember how I said even if we cut the price of the spell or of the scroll of wood shape, of the imaginary big scroll of wood shape from 12,000 by 90% to 1,200, that would still be a really expensive scroll. A scroll of Fabricate is 1125. Frick. But I think we can work around this. I think this is an acceptable solution for what I was looking for to be potentially kind of a both help them with their stronghold and also give us potentially a little bit of a story hook while being vague here. Is we make lesser Fabricate. So Fabricate is Sorcerer Wizard 5 and costs 1,100. It gives 10 cubic feet per level, which means by the time you could cast it, you could get around 100 cubic feet worth of stuff. Doing that is supposed to give how much of a discount? We're going to backwards compatible this for the last thing we do today here. 5% discount for normal quality spaces. So creating the furnishing for like one stronghold component, they say, is worth 5%. At up to 100 cubic feet worth of stuff. So if we keep the same ratio... Oh, but this gets tough in a hurry. Well, no, but hold on. We have to remember, theoretically, Rubato could scribe this spell. At which point it's not just one casting. Because what we're doing essentially is we're offering the player characters a decision for, do you want a discount on the stronghold construction, but you have to be present because Rubato needs to be there casting this spell, or do you want to get going sooner? And that way it's a player choice kind of thing. So if we were to make our theoretical lesser fabricate like a second level spell, it needs to be more than half as weak. A second level spell would make its scroll worth between 150 and 200. At one casting, it's only going to save them, you know, whatever, 1 or 2% off of like 1,000. So it's going to save them like 10 to 20 gold. But it doesn't have to have a complete economic replacement. And if you did it with every stronghold, I guess, yeah, we said there's 11.5 stronghold components. If it saves them 20 gold per component, then even from a strictly economic standpoint, it would save them, what, 230 gold for in construction costs for a spell that was worth 150 to 200. But again, it leaves it up to the players, right? They could just sell the scroll. Hey, hello, Lily. Yes, we are. What am I at? I'm not quite to my 90-minute limit yet, and that's good because we're just about done with our last thing here. So I think that makes sense. We go with second level spell for lesser fabricate. I wish we could do third. I think that makes slightly more sense, but I want Rubato to be able to scribe it. I think that's fun. So, well, I guess you could scribe it anyway, but I want him to be able to theoretically use it. So, and we want it to be more than half as weak as the basic fabricate. So, by its very nature, being level 3 instead of level 9 when you can cast it, if we change nothing else about the spell, that means that you're getting 30 cubic feet per cast instead of 90 cubic feet per cast. So it's already 2/3 weaker without changing anything about it. However, I think there needs to be a little bit of an extra penalty because it really probably should be a third level spell. So maybe we go... Well, but it doesn't... Hold on. But does it matter? Does that level of specificity matter? Because it's already... I think it's giving a 3% discount. As it was. So if we're cutting that 3% discount by 2/3, it's already only giving a 1% discount anyway. Am I really going to get into cutting that to a 0.8% discount just to make the numbers work? Probably not. How much is the discount? Oh, no, it's 5%. 5%. That's 0.05 times what? 0.33. So right now it's doing 1.6% discount. 1.65. I think we'll call it a 1.5% discount. Which is a 10% reduction. Okay, so the math actually works pretty well then. So instead of doing 10 cubic feet per level, it'll do 9 cubic feet per level. That way, if/when you made it to be to the point where you could cast normal fabricate, it would still be more efficient to cast normal fabricate instead of just using lesser fabricate. I'm happy with that. I need to write it down now before I forget. Oh God, where am I going to put this? I'm going to put it here for now. So, how are you doing today, Lily? Fabricate, comma, lesser. Then we're going to take the description of normal fabricate. We're going to scrub that in Notepad so we don't have a bunch of hyperlinks and stuff. Doing pretty good. I'm glad to hear it. Oh. Oh, why, Windows? Why? Nobody needed tabs in Notepad. I mean, I guess, I don't know. A lot of people do like that in Notepad++, but. Transmutation, Sorcerer Wizard 2. Range close up to 9 cubic feet per level. Duration instantaneous. Saving throw, no. Spell resistance, no. Material component. Oh, weird. I didn't get everything highlighted, apparently. Everyone had a good day at school, and it works. It's a good day. Let's go. I'm glad to hear it. I'm on that train as well, so I'm excited. So if I'm going to start making up spells, I feel like I need to put that somewhere. Probably just make a new folder. And then we'll throw that in there. That's done, that's done, that's done. That can go away. How much is that scroll going to be worth? We have some 150s, some 160s, some 175s, and some 200s. Just in case they do decide they want to try and sell it. It looks like this would probably be, yeah, this would probably be on the lower end from what I'm seeing here. It looks like it's mostly the combat-y type spells where the scroll would be worth like 175 to 200, and the non-combat-y ones are like 150, 160. Let's roll for it. Whether it's going to be 150 or 160. What do you want, Amlas? Which one is higher? Which one is 160? Odds or evens? For funsies. Evens. All right. See what we got. I don't have a good way to show this on screen, I guess, but the roll was 74. So that way there's slightly more value if they do decide that they want to try and sell it. Scroll of fabricate lesser costs 160 GP. You win, you do indeed. All right, so the last thing I need to do here then is grab the link to this file. We want file information. Oh boy, let's see. How do we do that again? Share, copy link. There we go. We're going to go into our session notes. Then we'll insert a link, paste that link, apply, boom. Okay. Well, that was fun. This was a fun stream. We got some stuff done. I did a ton of notes organizing that needed to be done. We made what seems to be an awesome new friend with Donovan and his crew. And we just barely passed the 90-minute mark. So I'm going to call that a big old W. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in today. If you had fun, if you're not already a follower or subscriber on YouTube, I'm sorry, I know I need to stop whinging about the term subscriber on YouTube at some point. But if you're not already following the channel here, please consider throwing a follow on the channel. And if you haven't done so yet, please like the live stream as well. The video for session 32, which was last week's session, will go up here on youtube.com/HereThereBeMonsters either Thursday or Friday of this week. And then we're playing again this upcoming Saturday. So, you know, about 1 week later, then we'll get that session uploaded here to YouTube as well. After that, we have a Chronicles session on Monday the 20th. So that video will go up probably about a week and a half after that. And then there should be a short hiatus between sessions just because we tend to have a few weeks on and then a few weeks off. And the hope is to get Rubato's backstory video done before we get into our next batch of sessions. I'm not committing to it just yet, but that's what I'm hoping for. Thanks for the stream. You finished a part and worked your way through most of part B. Nice. Well done, Enola. Thank you so much for tuning in, T-Bomb. Thank you for the laughs and, of course, for the hat as well. Yeah, I think that's it for news and whatnot. We'll catch you on Twitch. Next Twitch stream is Friday. We're playing Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. And then Saturday, of course, we've got, I think it's Planet Crafter and then D&D. Take care, everybody. And as always, be excellent to each other.